Okay, good evening, dear hearts. This is another episode of the Inner Dance Show, and in conversation tonight with a very special guest who's going to help us in support of a return to sacred flow. And the dear guest this evening is none other than Kathryn Carman. Now, I had the pleasure of spending a week with Kathryn when we did our initial Inner Dance Facilitator training about a year and a half, coming up for 2 years ago soon. And so I have been on the receiving end of Kathryn's energy and healing capacities. And I have to say, spending time with her was a real honour indeed. So it's really wonderful to have you on the show, Kathryn. But Kathryn isn't only an inner dance facilitator, she's an author and she's an energy healer, a teacher, and an ascension life coach, amongst many other things. So, welcome to the show, Kathryn, and thank you so much for agreeing to be here and spend some time with us. How are you today?
Well, thank you, Caroline, for asking me to join you today. As you know, I have been thrilled and excited to be part of this and to be part of what you're doing and to come together and work with you, especially after our beginnings in our inner dance training. And what a wonderful journey we started there too together. So this is really important to me. So thank you. And I am very well today, thank you.
Good, good. So, I've been watching from afar since our original training together how really the work that you're doing and the healing that you're offering the world. And I'm wondering if maybe you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do exactly.
Okay, so basically, I began my journey at the beginning of 2021, and it's been a kind of accelerated awakening. And on that journey, everything that I've learned and everything that I've remembered, because we do remember rather than learn, and everything that has become I've become aware of that has worked for me on this journey, I put together so that I can help others too in the same way on their journey. And I'm very passionate in the work that I do, that I'm supporting others who are awakening um, to create their own journey, their own unique journey. So the work I do is very much not around a way of doing things, but rather around coaching people, showing them what I do, but then inviting them to take that on as their own and adapt it to a way that works for them. So that's the fundamentals of what I do. I'm like, hey, I'm on a journey here, come with me and I'll help you along the way. And part of that involves energy cleansing and healing meditations, which involves channeling energy and light language. And the light language I've found is really transmuting and transformational. So I feel blessed that I can assist people in that way. And as you said, I have written a book and developed courses, and I do one to ones as well, in a coaching capacity as well as a healing capacity to help people. And part of that as well is the inner dance work, um, which really fits in with the healing cycle.
Wow. So all these different languages for healing and all these different ways that you can support people. And I just love the fact that you're naming that you're also in process. So you're in a state of expansion and evolution alongside the people that you're helping.
Very much so. And I find that as I work with people, and I always say to them as I'm working with them, that you are assisting me as much as I'm assisting you, because literally we are all mirrors of each other and we are all assisting each other to remember.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful way of putting it. And there's something so leveling about that, Kathryn. I mean, I've been a counsellor for a very long time, and the approach that's really a way of being for me is the sense of that we're in this together and we're equal partners. And so it's
Mm.
really beautiful to hear you sort of naming that in your own way, that you're co-creating. And the teaching is, it's an exchange, isn't it?
Very much so. It very much so, because I find I am an observer. I am a master observer, and I observe triggers in others, how I'm triggering them, how they trigger me, but also the words they speak,
Okay.
and because the energy they share, because it all contributes to each other's growth.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to assume that you were born very sensing and sensitive, and the energy is one of your languages. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yes, as a child, I was extremely empathic and sensitive to other dimensions. And I remember I came from a family that was quite religious. My parents
Uh-huh.
were religious, and I went to church and Sunday school. And I remember feeling this really strong presence and this connection, with some of the ascended as a child and the angelic realm. And I used to sometimes think, "Oh, why are other people not feeling this?" I just couldn't understand it. Some of the people I used to
Mhm,
observe them and think, "Why are you not feeling this?" I didn't understand that. But then as you grow older, you're conditioned
mhm.
um, not to be like that. So I was conditioned not to be like that. And I, as an adult, and after a career in education, um, I am finding myself again. I am stepping into my authenticity, and I'm still on that journey too.
That's just wonderful. It's so lovely to hear that you're reclaiming and remembering who you were born to be, and
Mm.
that it's never too late, is it?
No, it's never is too late, because um, I've taken early retirement, so I'm quite fortunate in that way that I've been able to do that and to change my life so that I can follow
Yeah.
my most inner desire. I did love my career in education. There were many aspects I enjoyed about it. But then towards the end, there were many aspects that I found very, very difficult to accept. So the fact that I've been able to retrain, remember, really, even Mia Kafkios, who I trained with, she said, "I'm not teaching you, I'm holding space for you to remember."
Yes.
And so I'm being very fortunate that I can do that, and then I can help others to do the same.
Wonderful. So, can you tell me more about Ascension and being an Ascension life coach? Because I know I definitely don't know enough about it, and I imagine that our listeners will be really curious to hear more.
Yes, we use the word ascension a lot, and
Yeah.
there are spiritual words that are bandied about, and we kind of grasp what the meaning is, but we don't really, to be honest, we're using certain vocabulary with each other, and it's like, what does that actually mean in a
Hmm.
practical sense? What are we experiencing? So I can share with you what ascension means to me, and it may resonate with others, and others may take on board some of what I say and then make it their own. Ascension for me was a sudden awakening to the fact that I'm more than what I've been told. And that awareness, and then moving through this healing to reveal my authenticity, has raised my consciousness of who I am in every capacity. So obviously, I was very aware of myself. Well, I say very aware, I'll explain that in a minute. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. I've always been a very emotional person. But physically, I'd become quite detached from my body.
Hmm.
And mentally, I was being very, very guided by the ego and the inner critical voice and the voice that was telling me who I should be. So, ascension for me is a journey where we raise in consciousness of who we are in our authenticity, in our sovereignty. But as we do that, we're releasing the fear, the fear in the conditioning. So everything we've been told that we are. And there is a huge healing, collective healing going on right now. So many amazing, beautiful, gifted healers are stepping up right now for this huge collective healing that's taking place. But as we're moving through this healing and we're releasing the lower density energy, we raise in vibration. So ascension is also essentially, as we raise in consciousness of who we are shifting our energetic vibration into, in other words, we're shifting dimension to a different energy. And it's quite tricky at the moment, the energy that we're trying to traverse. And so there's many people, many healers are really needed to assist each other as well as other people at this time, because I love attending your inner dance sessions online when I can, because that helps me on my journey. So I hope that gives a kind of overarching explanation. Now, in a wider sense, if we're talking about the new earth, as we're raising our vibration and becoming more consciously aware of ourselves, we are changing. We change within, but then that change starts to move without. And so it's almost like it's a change that comes from within us, and then we change our life without, which obviously has a greater impact. But each of us are doing it individually and together.
Yeah, beautiful. Wow. What really kind of resonated with me, amongst many things, was that sense of actually finding freedom again. Um,
Yes.
yeah. So again, it's that return to authenticity and remembering who we really are, and how through this awakening that, as you say, there's sort of a global raising of vibration.
Yes. Yes. And
Yeah.
all the healing we do, every every healing journey I've been on, and I talk about cycles of healing, which relate very closely to the hero's journey within the inner dance.
Yeah.
And everyone, I'm releasing fear. It comes down to us releasing the energy or any emotions that are linked to fear within our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies.
Yes. So many of us are conditioned to react in fear and to, I guess, to be programmed to live life through the lens of fear, aren't we?
Yes, very much so. Yeah. So ascension is very much a shifting from that fear to an inner sense of self, which is of a higher vibration of love.
Yes. So would you say that love is perhaps on the opposite scale of fear, or that love is the high vibration?
In terms of vibration and in terms of dimensions, some spiritual teachers will talk about ego to love, and that's because that's they've been guided with. I feel at the moment, in answer to your question, that
Hmm.
we're very much about on this scale of wherever we're going. It's very much about finding a balance within at the moment, a balance and understanding our part in duality, and
Yes.
really accepting those shadows, within us, and accepting that the balance of those shadows with the love within us. At the moment, it's very much about recalibrating the inner critical voice and the ego, which brings in the fear, and shifting to a beautiful connection where we're following our inner wisdom, which is the vibration of love.
Hmm.
Um, but it's about us being in balance at the moment. The world's out of balance. We become out of balance because we're energetic beings within the collective energetic field. And so we become out of balance. And it's very much about us moving through the healing and rebalancing, coming back to that balance within us, which is our authentic self.
Okay. Wonderful. So even I myself have to admit that I feel like I'm really a baby in my journey, and certainly in this lifetime anyway. And so, what sort of things might you recommend for somebody who maybe is just beginning their own awakening, of how they can sort of support that sense of balance and how they can maybe attend to their vibrations and energy work?
Okay, so the first thing that I would advise anyone to do, and in terms of the courses that I offer when I work with people, we start with the present moment. People are very much aware of how important the present moment is and coming back to the present moment.
Hmm.
The reason is that the present moment is the only space where we can actually control our energy. So if we are living in the future, the energy of the future and the what ifs of the future, it doesn't actually exist as yet, but that energy becomes one of fear, anxiety, and so on. And that takes us out of the present moment and into this energy of fear that we were talking about. When we live in the past and we've got those emotional mind loops and those prompts for the critical inner voice and the voice of fear because of things that have happened to us and what we've been told in the past, then again, we're out of that higher vibrational energy of love that we can connect with in the present moment. So, the very first thing I teach people, and we can do a meditation this evening where we ground, and that grounding is really important, and grounding into the present moment. And we then we start to do work together where we become aware of our energy in the present moment, how that
Hmm.
energy is impacted by people, situations, and so on. And then from that, we start to become masters of our energy, and we can then make choices that are going to affect our energy. So that's the first place that I guide people in starting, because then in the present moment, and this is the key thing, I assist people in connecting again with their intuition and with their inner voice of wisdom, because that's where you'll find it in the present moment, not in the future and not in the past.
Okay. It's really lovely how you're able to language that. And I guess what I'm really hearing is that, you know, being stuck in the past or fast forwarding into the future actually really reduces us and our capacities to harness the wisdom within, and that
Yes,
there's so deeply important, like you say, it's about presence. And it's through our presence that we can create great change.
very much so. And if you think about it, in the world that we're all living in at the moment, and I speak from personal experience at the beginning of my own journey, I was living a life where, um, even though I thought I was happy at the time, and there was lots of things in my life that were good, but I really hit a car crash, um, because I was so disconnected from myself, because I was so busy, because I had so much responsibility. And I literally forgot who I am, even in the story that I'd created from the expectations and the conditioning. I was even forgetting who I was in that,
Wow.
because I was so distracted. Probably there were the distractions from the past, but it was mainly the what ifs of the future and the
Right.
anxiety that it was creating in me. So, for me, that's where it started. So I'm able to help others who may feel that they're in this situation, and to support them moving forwards and being present.
Amazing. Just imagine if this is what we were being taught from nursery, that if this was part of our sort of educational
Mm,
curriculum.
yeah, yeah. I am planning on coming back again and being involved in the education system,
Oh,
so
wonderful.
it can be created how I want it to be. But yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah, I often think to myself, oh, I'm sure there's another me busy putting these things to write, but there we are.
Yeah, I can imagine you in lots of different dimensions doing your healing work in lots of different capacities. So yeah, definitely. Some cosmic
Yeah.
nursery out there is
Yeah.
beneficial for me.
Yeah. Some fifth dimensional education system being developed. Oh,
But but as you were speaking, Kathryn, I just, I imagined there there may have been some death process for you also through the awakening. I suppose just as the caterpillar sort of dies to become the butterfly, but that sense of, even losing yourself in the false identity, and being so disconnected from the disconnection. And then this reclamation and remembering work that you're now, dedicating yourself and your life to, you know, it would, is that true? Do you feel that there are parts of you that you've let go of and released and transmuted and
huge, huge. And an example would be the toxic feminine that I was living in.
okay.
Even though I was not aware of that at the time. And I've released a lot, done a lot of healing around that toxic feminine. And so as a result of that, aspects of me have died that were. But the beautiful thing is that the essence of me, so I know that, sometimes people call it your soul personality, but that essence of me was still there all the time. And as I've released those parts that needed to die away, they needed to fall away, it's only revealed this part of me that was always there. And
Yeah.
it's quite funny because obviously, um, a lot of my friends I am still friends with, and I think that's because I've always been drawn to my friends from this essence of myself,
Yeah.
rather than the story I'd created, if that makes sense. And
Absolutely.
so I still connect with my friends, whether they are awakened or not. Um, in terms of my energy, I need to be with other people who are awakened. I need to be with people having those deep conversations as we're having now. I need that for my growth and to raise my vibration, because we're all interconnected that way. But I'm still really happy to be with friends who have not awakened, and just to continue to share this. It's like a big ball of energy of love that's in me anyway, that was there anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, so those parts that have died of just allowing that part of me to come through more.
Yeah. I suppose it's sort of clearing away the old roots. But
Yeah.
I can vouch for that big ball of loving energy that you are. But I imagine that that must be very reassuring. But certainly in my counselling practice over the decades, that I know that many people are scared to be who they really are and to open up to the light within them and share how they are so bright and shining, because they're scared that they'll lose people, or they're scared that the life that they've constructed won't be robust or resilient or accepting of who they really are. And so to hear you say that actually, at the heart of your relationships has always been your heart, and that,
Yeah.
awakened, as you might describe it or not, that those relationships stand the test of time.
Yeah, I just have a very strong love, still, for my friends, and they do for me. And there are some people that have dropped away, but my actual you know friends, even if we don't spend as much time together now because we haven't got as much in common anymore, there's still that love between us.
Beautiful.
Mm.
And I'm very envious of them that they get to spend time with you. So we're on other sides of the country, and as much as I'd love to see Catherine, just don't get the opportunity.
Well, we need to organise that, don't we?
Yeah.
And I
Now,
love being with you too.
so Catherine, amongst all the amazing work that you do, you are an author, and I'm also aware that journaling is quite a big part of your work. Is that right?
Yes, I mean, the first book I wrote, I do need to change my website in that book actually, because I've got a new website, etc. now. But basically, the first book I wrote was around the toxic feminine, and it was characters, just short stories, and the characters becoming aware of their lives and what aspects of themselves and their lives were no longer serving them, and thinking that there must be something more. So that was the first book. And as I was writing it, I didn't really understand why I was writing it, but it was part of my healing journey. Again, because I'm very observant, it was part of my observations of the toxic feminine and the experiences that I was having, but also that other women were having
Okay.
and friends were having. And then as I was writing this book, I started to get very involved in journaling. And journaling really, I think that is what has accelerated my ascension journey so much, because journaling gave me the capacity, as I was connecting with my inner wisdom, um, that I could literally fill my journal with the words of my higher self, my inner wisdom. And then when you read it back and then you reflect on it, it just really gives that clarity to move forward and act on it. Because that's the important thing with this journey. We have
Hmm.
to act on it. So I was doing this journaling, and then I was asked to do a journaling workshop, um, in terms of how I journaled to help my journey. And I thought, well, I don't know what to say. But I just sat there in peace, and I received the guidance, and I developed this workshop. And I found that the workshop helped other people. And so I continued to deliver, and it was helping people. And I just found that what I'm doing for myself is helping other people. So from there, I developed courses, and I'm writing a book. And it's all about um, helping other people on their journey of ascension using journaling. And when I'm working with people in groups, they really connect with their inner wisdom, their higher self, and they channel that higher self in their journal to gain clarity. And it's just beautiful to witness. So that's where I'm at the moment with it. Busy re-editing the book at the moment, hoping to bring it out as soon as possible this year.
Amazing. What an exciting process.
Yeah,
And I'm someone who's kind of kept a diary since I was about 5 years old. So I know the power of sort of writing, but I'm curious
yeah.
about, the types of things that you might encourage people who've maybe never picked up a pen and written their innermost thoughts and wisdoms. Is it something like a stream of consciousness that you might recommend, or are there prompts that maybe somebody would consider, or
Well, to start writing in a journal with a blank page is obviously, for most of us is a bit of a it's over facing, isn't it? So what I teach people is, again, to come into the present moment. That's really important, because that's
Mhm.
where we connect. So it's teaching people tools to be in the present moment, meditations to assist them. But the other thing that's really important is moving into the energy of the heart. So,
Okay.
when we move into the energy of the heart, that's where we connect with the higher self. So, the journaling, as I say, goes hand in hand with the journey of ascension, because
Yes.
I'm assisting people um, to growing consciousness of who they are, and but to raise their vibration through using meditation and journaling together. So I have a key meditation of moving into the heart center that people use before they start their journaling, because then they're connecting with the energy of the heart. And that's where we start to get the flow with the journaling. And it can be done in any way. I mean, I've had the privilege of seeing your journal, and the beautiful art that you create in your journal and the expression of yourself through that art. So it can be done in any way, and I really strongly advocate to people that they do it in a way that suits them.
Yeah.
But it's steps really that I've found work, and they work as I'm working with other people, so that people can connect with their intuition and let that flow into the journaling.
Amazing. I just love that sense of, supporting people into their heart's energy, into that presence.
Mm.
I've always understood my hands to be in service to my heart, that they're psychic tools. And so, I always trust what is written. And here you are consciously supporting people into the heart's knowing and allowing the hands to really take it from there.
Yes, yeah. And the people I work with, they're all unique in how they do this. And actually, some people I work with prefer, we'll do a meditation and connect um, with our higher selves, and then they will sit and just prefer to sit in peace and reflect, and that's absolutely fine. So it doesn't always have to be journaling, but obviously I do call it journaling journey through ascension, because the meditation, the healing, the journaling, the cycle of it all, um, it's a beautiful, it unfolds as a beautiful journey of steps of amazing realizations of themselves, and so yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So the journal and the journaling in and of itself becomes the mirror, doesn't it?
yes, very much so, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we are very fortunate this evening. I think you're going to do a little guided meditation for us. Is that right?
Yes, obviously we've got no music, but that doesn't matter.
No, I don't have any.
Don't know where money came from. I
Neither
think
do
I'll
I.
reflect on that later. But yeah, so I work intuitively. And before I came on, I said, okay, what's needed for the people who are listening here? And they did say grounding. And funnily enough, that's how it's gone, hasn't it? The conversation. So I will invite everybody now to make yourself comfortable. Sitting up is preferable, because if you have your feet on the ground, it can really help you to connect with Mother Earth. So if you sit with your spine straight but relaxed, your legs open, your feet on the ground, and your arms open, and your hands just relaxed in a comfortable position. And now I invite you to just find a spot in front of you. You don't need to close your eyes just yet. Just find a spot, and to just gently gaze at that spot in front of you. And begin to breathe in through your nose as deeply as you can into your sacral chakra, into your stomach. Hold, and then we're going to release with our mouth open. And as we release, we're going to release as much as we can. Anything that feels heavy, anything that feels that it no longer belongs to us, we are going to release it. So we'll do that together. Ready? Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold and release with the mouth wide open. If you want to make a noise, that's absolutely fine. And just release. Now, on the next exhale, we're going to close our eyes. So breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. And then gently release with your mouth open and close your eyes. And let your breathing return to normal. Become aware of your feet touching the ground. Become aware of every part of your foot and how it connects with the ground. And from beneath your feet, the most beautiful, powerful, strong roots begin to grow. Strong roots growing deeper and deeper and deeper into Mother Earth. And trust how you receive this. You may feel, you may see, you may know by intention that as your roots grow deep, deep down into the ground, they grow so deep that they come to in the center of Mother Earth, the most beautiful green crystal. And your roots begin to wrap themselves around this crystal. Take a deep breath now into your sacral chakra. Breathe in and release. And as you release, just feel yourself sinking deeper down into Mother Earth, and your roots anchoring you around this crystal. And feel, see, or know by intention. And you may just take tiny breaths in as if you're breathing up a straw, just tiny, gentle ones. And with each tiny breath, with intention, bring up this beautiful healing energy from this crystal. And this healing energy begins to move up your roots. Kianaya stunamakashanaya. Kinalnia tunakashaya. Imukunyata. Imukunyalania kushtanamaya. This beautiful green healing energy is moving up your roots, and it continues to move up your legs. Kanaya tuna. And it moves into your base chakra. And be aware, see, feel, or know by intention. Your inner knowing is so powerful that this green healing energy in your root chakra at the base of your spine is beginning to expand. Like a ball of green energy, and this energy is expanding and it's filling your root chakra. And just feel this beautiful connection now with Mother Earth in this space. This beautiful green healing energy from the crystal. And there's a beautiful figure of 8 taking place now between your root chakra, moving down your roots, moving through this crystal at the bottom of the figure 8, and moving back up the other side of the figure 8, crossing in your roots and coming back to your root chakra. And where this figure of 8 crosses, be aware it is just underneath your feet. And this is your Earth Star chakra. So be aware of how this beautiful green energy now is moving from your root chakra through your Earth Star chakra just underneath your feet. That's the center of the 8, moving down into the green crystal and back up the other side through your Earth Star chakra again and into your root. And just feel, see, or know by intention that this beautiful connection with Mother Earth is just becoming more established. Kaya notanaya, kushana botaya lanaya ga. Feel how she holds you. She is holding you. And she is releasing the fear in your root chakra the fear of your needs being met. She is holding you and taking care of you. Kiana kushanaya tunakanaya totototonama shanakalaya tunatashanaya kushkushkunamataya sha. And slowly this figure of 8, this flow of energy just begins to stop. Become aware of the green crystal once more. Just focus on that green crystal deep down, deep down, deep in Mother Earth, the cosmic center of Earth. And once more, see, feel, or know by intention as this green energy travels up your roots, up your legs into your root chakra and into your sacral chakra. And as it moves into your sacral chakra, it begins to expand, starting off as a small ball and expanding, expanding, expanding. Kanaya, Tunya, Shanakaya, Nutanaya. And it moves up into your solar plexus just above your tummy button and continues to expand. Nakashana, Tunya, Imutanaya Lana. Just expanding and filling your solar plexus. And this is where we hold a lot of fear in our solar plexus. And just feel now how that fear is being released. Just feel the fear in our solar plexus is there. Just let it release. Now with intention, just use the breath as intention to breathe into your solar plexus. And just allow that green energy to release, release, release down to Mother Earth for transmutation. And just let it flow down. Just release it. It is not yours. And then, with intention, return to this green crystal. Bring this beautiful green healing energy up your roots, into your root chakra, your sacral, your solar plexus, and bring this beautiful energy into your heart center. And as it expands in your heart center, you become aware of a ball of energy in your heart center. Just trust what you're given as to what color this energy is. This beautiful essence of you in your heart center. And this green healing energy continues to travel up into your throat chakra, your third eye, your crown, and then it moves out through your crown and cascades all around you, filling your aura. Be aware of this continuous flow now. Just embrace this beautiful flow of this healing energy from Mother Earth moving up through your roots and your chakras, up through your spine, filling your body, every part of your body, and cascading out of your crown, all around you. And just sit for a moment and just embrace this moment. This beautiful healing for you. Come back to this ball of energy in your heart center and be aware how this ball of energy, this beautiful light of you, is expanding. And it is expanding and it is filling your heart center. And a door in the front of your heart begins to open. This beautiful energy expands through the door and fills your aura all around you. Just embrace this moment, this present moment, grounded into Mother Earth, connecting with your I Am presence. Nothing else, just you and your beautiful connection with yourself. And when you are ready, I invite you to become aware of those roots once more. And just let those roots remain deep, deep down in Mother Earth. And the green crystal gently fades, but your roots remain. And I invite you now to breathe in deeply once more into the sacral and hold. And as you release, if there is anything else that needs to be released, just with intention, release it down your roots into Mother Earth. So breathe in, hold, and release. I just invite you to do that once more. Hold and release. Just gently become aware of your surroundings. As you do so, you are invited to stay in this space of beautiful connection with Mother Earth. Just gently move your fingers and your toes and anything you need to do. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Kathryn. That was beautiful. I'm feeling deeply rooted in and expansive. And when you first started, I was thinking, I was just reading about emeralds this morning. So that felt really synchronous. But you know, you spoke in that beautiful light language, and I could feel, just the energy sort of trickling through me. So as flow returns. Yeah. And I'm curious, what is light language to you?
It's an energy, basically, it is an energy, and it's a healing energy, and it's a communicative energy as well. Sometimes when I'm working with people, I know what I'm bringing through is communicating something to them,
Yes. Yeah.
as well as the healing capacity.
Yeah. Beautiful. I had an inner dance recently, and sound started to. I started to be sounded. It definitely wasn't me making a conscious choice to make sounds, and it was quite. I don't know, guttural. I don't know if I could call it light language because it sounded quite dark, but it was. I was so struck by it because it's not something that's a way I would normally channel. So I'm really always fascinated to hear what other people's experiences of it are. And, yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for the gift that you've given, certainly myself and listeners and future listeners as well, that time to offer that guided meditation back home. Really appreciate that, and just struck by your level of your capacity to channel and be intuitive in the moment. For me,
Mm.
that speaks of your awakening and your freedom, actually, to without preparation just be present and to speak uninhibited from a deeply rooted, centered place.
Yeah, it is that. It's just that inner wisdom. We've all got the ability to connect in a way that is right for us, because we've all got our different clairs, and we've all got that ability to tap into an inner wisdom, which is part of a collective wisdom.
Yeah.
So, and I feel passionate about helping people to do that too. And some of the women that I work with, and I say women because I do work with men as well, but I just attract women to work with me, and I think
Hmm.
it's around that divine inner feminine I was speaking about before. But it's beautiful now, because I'm holding space for them to start to, there's plans for them to start to bring forward what they want to do with people, so that they can make their first tentative steps in doing it in a safe environment with small groups.
Amazing.
Um,
That
yeah,
must be
it's
so
really
rewarding.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And so, if anyone who's listening, would like to know more, and would they just reach out to you through your website, Kathryn?
Yes, it's quite complex how to spell my name though, so it's not it's not easy. But you can reach out to me on my website. It's Soul Ascension with Kathryn Carman, and I'll spell my name if that's okay.
Well,
It's Kathryn, and Carman, Carman. So it's Soul Ascension with KathrynCarman.com. Um, on the main page, if you go onto the main page, there's a link. Just scroll down a little and you will see a link where you can book onto a free energy cleansing meditation, which is channeled just individually for you, if anybody wants to do that. And from there, if you're interested in us working together in any capacity, we can have a conversation about that too.
amazing. So, what I'll do at the end of the show, I'll put your details up on the chat as well, so that
Yeah.
in that message, so that people can find that information easily just to get hold of you.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing. And we're coming to the last 10 minutes. It's kind of flown by as I knew it would. But always at sort of the last sort of section, I do like. I'm an avid reader, so this is selfish for me. But I always like to ask my special guests if you've got a book that you might recommend that you've maybe read in your life, besides the ones you've written, of course. That have maybe really helped you or inspired you that you might want to recommend to our readers.
Well, I love to read, and my Kindle is just full of books where I'm constantly learning and remembering from the
Mhm.
written word of other people. But I'm going to go right back to the beginning of my journey, and I basically picked up a book. It was with a book club actually online that I was doing, and it was the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. And because my life was so busy at the time, but I had this really strong inner knowing that something needed to change, I literally did not have time to create that space to change.
Mhm.
And I was trying to work it all out. And I was a bit lost at the time. And I read The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. And that was the switch for me. Not so much as in awakening, but in creating space for me to awaken, for me to grow. Um, it's I don't always get up at 5 a.m. I must say I'm not very good at getting up in the morning, but the point is the book helped me to make shifts and changes in my life that facilitated that space for me to grow. So that was, for me, that was a game changer.
Wow. Well, I'm definitely going to have to check that one out then.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
And along the way, have you ever received any words of wisdom that have supported you? You might like to share.
Well, it really, again, my journey has been very challenging at times. And again, it's a quote from that book, really, that I would share with people, because for me, it sums it up. And particularly when I can see people being very challenged at the moment with the fear in the collective.
Hmm.
And the quote is this: all change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. And that's a continuous cycle. It's a continuous cycle.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for that. I'm just writing it down. Oh, and I have to say I'm in, well, like you say, it's a continuous cycle, but I'm definitely I've entered a new death process at the moment. So it's definitely, I don't even know, I think it's shifted from hard to definitely messy.
Yeah, yeah, and this is the thing. But I find now, as I'm moving along, I don't know if you find this, Caroline, but at first I call it, when you go into this winter, this dark place, like a seed in the ground. And you literally, it's really hard, isn't it? And it used to take so long, but now it seems to be quicker.
Hmm. Yeah.
um and because you know what's happening, the gorgeousness is coming at the end. So it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. There was certainly a shift for me in the last week or so where it was realizing, okay, so there's this massive death I'm in, and the yielding into that, actually, the loosening the grip and loosening the grip of resistance, which is really what for me holds the anguish. And since then, it's become pleasurable, you know. So
That's
that's,
beautiful. And
yeah,
can I just say, an absolute key thing to this journey is that release. That word, when you said that, release.
yeah, amazing. Oh, Catherine,
Mm.
the hour, we're coming up to the end, and it's just been a joy to hear you in your expansion and your sovereignty,
Thank you.
and and I know that, like, I had the honor of spending time with you. Like I say, it'll be 2 years, I think, in August. But
Mm.
and even I have just that pinpoint in my memory of the phenomenal person you were back then. But just in this last hour, I can really hear and feel your expansion. And like you say, that accelerated awakening journey that you have been on since, well, you named since 2021. But thank you so much for coming on and for sharing your wisdom and energy, which is so heart centered, with us. It's been, like I say, a delight and a joy for me. And I'm sure for the listeners who are present at the moment and for future listeners who listen to the recording. But I'm curious, is there anything that you'd like to mention or say before we sort of end the recording?
I just want to say thank you for giving me opportunity um, to share, because the aim is, in my sharing, that will assist others in some way, as we're all
Yeah,
assisting each other.
yeah, yeah. Well, I certainly know that you've assisted me this evening, and I'm sure that's also true for listeners as well. So, without hesitation, I can highly recommend working with Kathryn, and you should check out Soul Ascension with Kathryn Carman and get to know even more the fabulous work she does and how she might be able to help you on your journey of expansion and ascension as well. Anyway, Kathryn, it has been a delight. I'm just going to end the recording now, and then I'll just see if anybody would like to ask a question or not. But this is the end of another Inner Dance show. And next week, we've got the pleasure, well, it's actually a recording of Thorn Stiefel and I speaking about all things labyrinth. Lauren is the labyrinth keeper at Dundee, and I have, it's just a delightful conversation. So looking forward to playing that for you all next Tuesday. So much love, dear hearts, and I'll speak to you next week. Okay.
Thank you, Caroline. Bye, everybody.
Okay, well, Kathryn, if you just hold on a second, I'll just end the
Okay.
recording, and then we'll just see if anyone wants to have a quick chat. 2 seconds.
Thank you.